GP replica colours. They've been around for many decades. In fact, I owned a Honda NSR 400 in Rothmans colours in the mid-80s. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, there was Pepsi Suzukis, definitely HP Suzukis, and Marlboro going through the cigarette times before it was all banned. But recently, the one that stands out the most, I suppose we have Repsol Honda, let me just add that, but the one that stands out the most is Suzuki with their X-Star colours, which is found on 600s, 750s and 1000s. But I have something special for you from 2021 range from Suzuki, and it's this little beauty. Oh yes, the GSX 150 SF Gixxer. Let's be honest, that is a very attractive motorcycle. As you can see, it is in the famous blue and yellow X-Star colours, but now you can also get the blue silver 2021 MotoGP colours if you desire that. So it certainly looks the part, but is it worthy of holding this beautiful paint scheme like its bigger brothers? Well, yes, I think it is, because it rides so much better than its specs don't suggest. Which are an air-cooled single overhead cam 155cc 2-valve with a claimed 15 horsepower at 9,000 RPM and 14 Newton meters at 6,000 RPM. So I just had to lob it on the Dynojet dyno to confirm these figures. And the result is 11.99 horsepower and 12.76 Newton meters. Pretty close to the claimed figures, don't you think? And look at that smooth graph. Shows you just how efficient the fuel is from this carbureted engine. The good thing about having a carburetor though, up in there, is that you can actually change the jetting and get maybe 5 or 6 more horsepower, pumping it up to about 18. But when you get up round the top end of the rev range, you have to be really careful about this rev limiter. Catching this rev limiter is immense fun. It's one of the best parts of this bike because it has a little shift light, as you can see, but you have to be right on it because a millionth of a second after it lights, it is the rev limiter, and it will hit the rev limiter in 5th gear quite easily, showing an indicated 122 kilometers an hour in 5th gear, obviously because it has 5 gears. So a little fiddle with a bit of sprocket work could easily increase the top speed. This fairing certainly has to help with this top speed run, shall we say, and Suzuki say that it's actually designed in the same wind tunnel as the GSX 1000 and Hayabusa, which is incredibly impressive. Also impressive is that amazing LED headlight. Without doubt, the best in class by a mile. Actually, a little bike with a good headlight. And also an impressive thing is this amazing handling. Oh yes, the best part of the 150 SF Gixxer is the chassis. In a word, superb. Proper Moto 3, believe it or not. Yes, I know, it has only 12 horsepower, but check out those huge 43mm forks on the front and a fat rear shock with a chunky red spring. This chassis is certainly worthy of its GP colour scheme. It turns lightning quick. Should do, it only weighs 39 kilograms. It's super stable in a straight line. Which it doesn't say anywhere on the bike at all. There is no mention of the cc. And most people actually think it's at least 300cc. And so would I. And with my 90 kilogram mass, it even fits me nicely for such a small bike. And that seat, let me tell you, is more padded than many very expensive bikes I've recently tested. No names mentioned. Now, talking of expense, most people get this bike wrong when asked what they think it is, being a 150. I'm going to tell you right now, it is 35,750 Rand, which is an absolute bargain for something so gorgeous as this, or around 500 Rand a month. How can you get better than that for that? But here's a closing thought. The GSX-R 1000R is 280 grand. Or you can buy 8 of these for one of those. Now, wouldn't that be a wild Isle of Man GP replica run to the pub? Just a thought.
Can't argue with the price, or the performance, or the looks, can you really? If you want more information on that Suzuki or any new bikes that Bill's tested, then get yourself online and head to billiesbikes.co.za and you can read his tests, catch up with the latest biking news, read a collection of his awful jokes, or even read the occasional column from me where I tell you about some of the stuff we've been doing together over the last 25 years or so in the bike industry. We actually originally met on a bike magazine in the UK and we had quite a lot of adventures there, and then here in South Africa. But it's a grown-up read because I use some swear words, so only read it if you're over 18, please. Time now for another break. We'll be back in a moment.